You ever notice so many millionaires, billionaires, famous people, successful people, they die in car crashes, they die in ski accidents, parachutes, what do you call that? They parachute out of planes and they die. It's because it was never about the money. It was always about success. It was always about setting a goal and saying, hey, I'm going to do something. And then you do it. It gets done. And that thrill, that energy, that driving force that happens in life and in many ways defines life and is life is what motivates them. And money is just a byproduct of that quest of, hey, I'm going to put something into play. I want to live in that mansion. I want to drive that car. I want to be free to travel. I don't want to have to answer to a boss. I don't want to work for money. I don't want to anything, any kind of goal that you may set. I want to be able to acquire things without struggling. All of these goals are just regular goals. It doesn't matter if you want to climb a mountain or you want more free time on your hands. These are just all goals that when you focus on them, you might accomplish. And, usually you will. It's just the way the universe is set up for believers and non-believers. And so, people keep asking me, what do I do? Doesn't matter what I do. What matters is how I think. Because I'm going to always be paid. I'm going to always have an exceptional amount of money. And I'm going to have more money than I had last year. It's going to continue to get better until I become a multi-millionaire. And even then, I'm going to have bigger goals. And by then, I won't be doing what I'm doing now. I probably won't be doing what I'm doing today in 3 weeks from now. So don't get caught up in what I'm doing right now. Because I'm not caught up in what I'm doing right now. You want what I have. You want what I seem to have or what you think I have. You want to go in a place that's better than where you're going and you see people that seem to be doing that. Don't ask them what they do. Ask them how they think. Then ask them what they do. I mean, you might want to try what they do too, but it's not about doing what I do, because the minute you do what I do, I'm going to be on to the next thing and you're going to still be stuck in something that might, listen, I used to sell CDs. I made $200-300 a day selling CDs. You going to do that now? Selling CDs today is like selling tapes. Nobody uses CDs no more. You know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, if I left the business because it ain't popping no more. So don't ask me what I do. Ask me what I'm working on. Ask me how I think. That's who I study. I study the millionaires and billionaires. I study Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg runs Facebook. I know what he do. I don't want to do what he do. I want to think the way he thinks. Because it might not be in my purpose. It might not be in my calling, in my capacity to do Facebook. But it's always in my capacity to think bigger, to dream bigger, and to set goals and to do what I'm called to do. I like what Lisa Nichols said. She said, I know what my breath is for. You got to know what your breath is for. You got to know what your energy is for. You got to know why you was put on this earth. If you think that it's about making money, then you're confused and you're never really ever going to be where you belong unless God just magically put you there. Because it's not about money. It's about prosperity and it's about wealth. Money is a byproduct of wealth. It's a byproduct of prosperity. It's a byproduct of goals accomplished. This is a block right here that I said I wanted to live on. And now I live on this block. I came to this block, I said I'm going to live on this block. I didn't even have a deposit for the apartment. And I told them, I said, listen, only show me apartments on this block and I don't even have a deposit. I was in an apartment in 2 hours. It's not about money. I got a lot of stories about success and prosperity. Things going my way. And money didn't get me there. So, I'm done talking. This is just a random video. This is my first video, actually, ever. Talking to myself, to a camera, to you people. My loved ones, my fellow prosperants. About success. Because it's on my heart, it's on my mind every day, all day long. That's all I think about. It's prosperity, wealth. in a purpose-driven life. And if you think that you can ever understand true value, true purpose, true prosperity without stepping into the calling that God gave you, then you will continue to live a life that is beneath what you've been called to be. Nothing is more joyful, nothing is more satisfactory than knowing exactly why you were created and doing that thing. And when you step into the path that you belong in, the provisions are on the way. The relationships, the connections are on the way. The financial resources are already there waiting for you on the path that you're on, that you belong on. And if you would just actually go on the path, you don't need a GPS to find your wealth, to find your resources. You just need to follow instructions. And God's GPS doesn't give you a lot of, what's that word? You know how to use the GPS and it gives you like a whole list of the route preview. You know exactly what your turns are going to do. God doesn't really do that too often. He gives you a few steps ahead and he dares you and challenges you to step into the unknown. And when you get there, you'll find further directions. So God's GPS is a little bit more scary than the GPS on your phone. But I think you should follow it. And if you're having a hard time hearing the voice of God, you don't recognize the voice of God, then my advice to you is, if you want to hear the voice of God better, practice obeying it. What that means is, there are times when you know that this is what God would want you to do. That voice inside you that says this is the right thing to do. You know certain times when it's not rocket science to know when God is in agreement with a certain decision. So make those decisions. Learn to practice obeying that voice. You know, God is not he's not a magician. He's not a street performer. He's not here to just entertain you with his voice all day long. I would like to believe that God likes to speak to people who are interested in his voice. And the best way to show interest in his voice is to obey it. So practice obeying his voice. And I think you'll find that hearing his voice becomes a lot clearer. So ultimately, if I had to summarize what I'm saying, if you want prosperity, if you want to prosper does not exist without goals. If you didn't set a goal, then what did you prosper? Good things may happen, but you still can't call it prosperity, because it's only prosperity if it's a goal that was achieved. You know? So you can't have prosperity without goals. And goals driven by people, or goals that are not based in a true purpose, don't have a great end, don't have the greatest end that it could possibly be. So ultimately, if you want to be wealthy, you want to be prosperous, then you have to understand your purpose. Purpose will teach you value, what to value, and how to accumulate things that continue to have value in your life. And you will notice that the way you think will be the thing that is the difference between manifesting your purpose and possibly missing your purpose. Because the resources are already available on your path. Hope that makes sense to somebody. I didn't plan to say all of this. I was really just playing with my new phone. I'm not even sure how the voice quality is on this thing. I may not even post this. But this is how I think all day long. This is what I say to myself all day long. These are the things that I listen to all day long. And I'm going to be a millionaire. And I'm glad that I'm able to share these videos before I become a millionaire, because you always have these people that are millionaires, multimillionaires, telling you what the secret is. And you're like, no, they just got lucky and now all of a sudden they got a master plan. But you was like everybody else, just hoping. And no, there are many of us who have planned to be rich before we were in any position, apparent position to be rich. The industry, I'm telling you now, the industry that's going to make me rich, I'm not even sure I found it yet. But that doesn't have anything to do with my belief and understanding and the mindset that's going to bring me to multi-millions. And understand that my goal is not the multi-millions. My goal is being able to reach millions of people and open their mind to a life of prosperity and purpose-driven life. My goal is to have all the resources manifested in my life to do everything that I dream to do, like working with men who are fighting for their children, or restoring a good portion of the church back to the biblical truths. Teaching biblical foundation again, and losing all of this religion and superstition that's creeped into what we now call the church, and church philosophy and doctrine. I have personal goals, and the multi-millions are just a component in where I'm going. Please, if you're looking for prosperity, don't let money be your end game. Get a goal and let the money finance your dreams. Okay. Peace, love, and blessings. This is Mr. Complexity, Plexography, signing out.